Tropical beaches, lush scenery, Indonesia is a sensory overload. Of all the beautiful places in the world, this one grabs me like no other.
There's a platter left behind with some ceremonial tidbits.
Death in Sulawesi can be a celebratory event. And a rite of passage brings out an entire village for a one-of-a-kind meal.
Hundreds of cooks, one pig, one amazing meal.
At a funeral celebration, I dine on water buffalo.
Just at the end there, you can make out all 3 layers of the stomach lining.
A Balinese snake restaurant serves from every part of the reptile.
That nasty, bitter flavor is actually the liquid inside of that gland.
Even the fruit packs a punch.
I mean, this could, you know, take varnish off a chair.
And there's a slight problem on my way to dinner.
Watch out my head, I can't fit through the kitchen door.
I always feel right at home in Indonesia, one of the most beautiful places on earth, where the food is bold and the unexpected is a way of life.
Of course, don't forget the cookies and the coffee.
I'm Andrew Zimmern, and this is Bizarre Foods. It happens suddenly, right in front of you. A fascinating friend, an amazing meal. And before you know it, you're alive in a way you never imagined. I live for those moments, pursuing the exotic and unfamiliar, especially when it comes to the food. If it looks good, I eat it. Indonesia is a tropical paradise with a globally important traditional art scene, a modern penchant for practicing centuries-old rituals, a hotbed for extreme foods enthusiasts, and it's not small. It's an archipelago of 17,000 islands. Only 6,000 are inhabited, yet it's the 4th most populous country on our planet. Once you leave the jammed major cities, the serenity of life in the villages is mystical and calming. Food is at the core of the many community-wide celebrations. People eat as their elders did, often out of necessity and always out of respect for past generations. I came to Indonesia before, and I wanted to show you these stories, because on each trip, I'm as captivated by the customs as I am by the cuisine. From the obsessive fascination with death on the island of Sulawesi to a Balinese restaurant specializing in medicinal concoctions. For a food geek, it doesn't get any more real than this. This is Bali, a romantic paradise so small you could drive around the entire coastline in just one day. This land is laden with fertile rice fields and ancient cities. A civilization dating back over 4 millennia, Bali represents a cultural confluence of styles from India and China, forming a culture and belief system unique unto itself. Ubud is a district in the center of Bali. It has attracted backpackers, artists, and dreamers for years. Despite the influx of tourism, its heritage remains untrampled. It is home to verdant forests, ancient temples, and traditional villages. And I've arrived at a very auspicious time. I'm here at the community center in the village of New Kuning, hours before sunrise, to help prepare food and offerings for one of the biggest coming-of-age celebrations this town has ever seen. Just a few yards away, they're getting ready for a massive tooth filing ceremony. Yes, I said tooth filing. But let's talk about the food first. Out of respect, I'm wearing traditional Balinese dress, a folded scarf or udeng on my head, and a caiman, a male sarong, around my waist. We're preparing a lawar, a traditional feast to feed about 160 people. Slaughtering this pig is the first step in the preparation of a massive meal named after one of the dishes.
We prepare the morning time to cut the pig, and then after that they will bring to the river and then clean it over there, and then the people over there upstairs to be making the slicing.
I'm here with Putu Wiswara, Bali native, jack of all trades. And like me, he's a pork fanatic.
Well, look at you. You're about to burst out of your skin. You're like vibrating. You're so excited. Yeah.
First, the pig is blessed by a local priest and carried outside to be dispatched. The blood that's spilled will be incorporated into several of the dishes that are being prepared. To remove its coarse hair, the pig is covered in a mixture of river mud and oil, then lit on fire.
Very impressive. These guys
know what they're doing. So,
And,
in go the bamboo poles to the legs and
then bring to the
down
river.
to the river.
Yeah.
So now they just scrub it down, get rid of any burnt hair and oil that's left, and then they just butcher. 85% of the pig is now going back up to be butchered and prepared. There's a platter left behind with some ceremonial tidbits.
Now that the pig is ready, this process is about to ramp up to mind-blowing proportions.
There's hundreds of cooks here, and they're divided in groups of 8 to 10, all huddled around a mat with knives and cutting boards. One group is just husking and grating coconut and making coconut milk. One is just making plates and bowls. There's 20 guys down there just butchering, plucking, and cooking ducks and chickens down in poultry land underneath us. It's insane. It's an army of cooks.
The Loire is a male-dominated event.
If you wonder where all the ladies are, they're all in here. Boiling water, making coffee, hello, ladies. How you doing?
In addition to making refreshments, the women also run the hot kitchen, frying or poaching the meat after it's been prepped by the men.
You'll notice that there's an awful lot of chopping and mincing going on. Well, the vast majority of this pig is going to be minced into oblivion. All the organs and entrails, the skin, the fat, the meat, and it's going to be mixed with different spices and seasoning mixtures, hundreds of cooks, one pig, one amazing meal.
And the star of the meal is Loire, a cold salad made with the minced pig or duck, blood, fiery spices, and a plethora of indigenous produce like jackfruit and mountain fern. This salad feeds the people who are preparing the feast. There's a Loire assembly line set up in the middle of all the action, where one man is tasked with hand-mixing huge batches of several varieties of the dish.
So he's got a little pork skin in there, a little papaya, a little bit of spice mixture, yeah.
First, we break up the coagulated blood, and then we add the minced coconut.
More? What else we got? Oh, fried shallot.
In goes the blazing hot sauce.
Yeah. Look at all those chilies.
Add a dash of salt.
This smells unbelievable. Oh, a little bit of the fermented shrimp paste. Salty, fishy, putrefied goodness. It's good, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, a little bit of pork skin. This is fatty and gelatinous.
After this batch of ceremonial grub is done, it's rather unceremoniously dumped into a plastic tub filled with 2 other kinds of Loire.
There is three kind of color.
Oh, yeah, white, green, and red.
Yeah.
The meal everyone has been working on since before sunrise is almost ready. Huge tubs of Loire, grilled bits of pork, and baskets of rice.
Beautiful. Oh. Well, this is nice.
Yeah. I taste the Loire first.
You're gonna go Loire first, I'm gonna go meat first. Wow, that's good. Spicy, porky deliciousness.
Yeah, sure.
Super fresh. And this is the Loire,
I taste
which has got the coconut, the jackfruit, the shredded, chopped, boiled pork sausage. It's a cold salad. It's also got the raw pig's blood in it. That's why it's pink.
with the vegetable jackfruit and then the paku.
Oh, man, that is unbelievable.
While we've been allowed to taste test some of the Loire, the lion's share of the meal will be fed later to the hundreds of guests gathering for the big event. This is a sacred Balinese rite of passage called a matata, or mass tooth filing.
This is one of the most serious celebrations in the Balinese religious system. So a lot of the participants are really nervous. Some of them are really scared.
Balinese culture is highly symbolic, and a person's canine teeth are regarded as animalistic fangs. Filing the canine teeth flat and even with the front teeth is believed to make a person more fully human. The matata is traditionally performed at puberty as a way for the young adult to cast off childish animal tendencies.
There's an aspect of this that it's also kind of like a Balinese bar mitzvah. I mean, it's a coming-of-age ceremony. So out there and along press row are all the parents with cameras and video recorders. It's pretty sweet. He's just in there. It just makes me all squirmy. Oh my God. I am as uncomfortable as I've ever been on camera. My back hurts from just being all tensed up for so long. It's crazy.
The participants don't seem uncomfortable. They repeatedly check the process in a mirror, spit out bits of crumbled tooth into their coconuts, lie back down, and eagerly ask for more to be filed away.
Oh, look at her.
Look at it.
Yeah, she's so happy.
When everyone agrees the teeth have been filed enough, the ends are smoothed with a polishing stone. Then, the initiates rub an astringent betel pepper leaf on their tea and drink a soothing mixture of honey, lime, and medicinal herbs. Now that's a sweet class picture. I think some meals in Bali warrant hazard pay. You have those little pieces of the spinal column kind of stuck in your throat.
Yeah.
And in Sulawesi, honoring the dead culminates in a special meal.
Pieces of a water buffalo stomach like this are not for beginners.
We're in Bali's capital of Denpasar, located in the southern part of the island. This is Made Raymond, who manages one of his family's restaurants, and his buddy, Jamal El Mahdi. I've convinced them to take me for a medicinal meal at Istan Raja Cobra Restaurant. This establishment has been in business for over 40 years and specializes in snake products, both the wearable and the edible kind. The mise en place is in the back room.
My God.
Look at that.
Pythons, aggressive water snakes, and venomous cobras.
He just venomed you.
I know. Oh, okay.
He just venomed you again. They really deliver a good shot of that, too.
Really, huh?
Mirka Zulaika, one of the hostesses, knows how to get the snakes riled up.
Yeah, no, he's, whoa! My gosh. And look at you, got both guys with full hooded extension. That is amazing. Can I go in there?
No, please.
Believe it or not, consuming these hissing, slithering creatures is supposed to have potent health benefits.
Good for immune system. Tree snake good for everything. Because
Sure.
the gallbladders
Yeah.
is important. Python good for immune system. And aggressive snakes good for kidney, for make sex desire. Yeah, and the cobra good for energy. Yeah, and the eyes also.
Preparing snake blood is not for the faint of heart. The handler must avoid attack while capturing the snake and severing its head. The blood is then drained for drinking. The rest of the snake is then skinned and chopped to go into other dishes. One of the other waitresses puts the finishing touches on our cobra blood cocktail tableside, adding the gallbladder for energy, bone marrow from the snake's spine for back pain, and the cobra's penis for sexual stamina.
You have to have the penis. She knows what she's doing when she handles one.
Sherry, yeah?
We divide up the cocktail, tasty niblets and all, 3 ways.
Hopefully my wife will be pleased later.
She will be. She will be. You're going to love this.
Drink in one shot.
Good health, sir.
Cheers.
Cheers,
Thank
man.
you, guys. This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
How about taste?
Yeah, not so bad. It's good.
It's that herbal,
Tastes
soaky
strong with the
thing.
alcohol as well.
Yeah, that nasty bitter flavor is actually the liquid inside of that gland.
Okay.
Yeah, like biting into a raw eggplant. You have those little pieces of the spinal column kind of stuck in your throat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not what I would call necessarily a pleasurable shot, but it certainly may rebound and be pleasurable later on. The meal continues with fried cobra, reportedly good for the skin, and some cobra soup, meant to improve blood circulation.
That is some good soup.
Very good.
The soup features succulently soft pieces of fresh cobra meat,
How's the meat taste like?
like chicken.
Like chicken, huh?
It's like chicken wings.
Really?
The fried is fun because With the fried cobra, you can eat all the bones and everything. Also, you really feel like you're on top of the food chain, you know?
It tastes like chicken skin.
Crunchy and good for you.
Chewy and crispy.
Not a lot of meat on it, but it's long. Yeah. That was delicious.
Just around the corner, a little pig on the run.
Look at that gorgeous pork.
At a race to remember.
Come on, give it up! Give it up!
And a local legal high even grandmothers love.
The Indonesian country version of a shot in a beer.
A journey beyond the pristine beaches and lavish resorts of Bali reveals a land that's ringing with the rhythms of daily life. Denpasar is the capital and most populated city on the island. The word pasar means market, and this area is full of them. Pasar Badung is the oldest and largest and is considered the clearinghouse for many Balinese goods. Open 24 hours, this is the Balinese version of a convenience store, with 3 floors offering everything from fish and meat to fruit and vegetables, as well as more unusual items found only in this part of the world. The wide array of tropical fruits here is incredible. Made Certainty will try to decipher some of them for me. She's the head chef at a local restaurant and is a frequent shopper here. Made grew up with the island's array of unusual tropical fruits, like the dragon fruit and jackfruit.
The problem with jackfruit is that they're very, very big. You and I both know that's not even that big. Jackfruit can sometimes be really big.
Big size.
Yeah. Look at that, she's gonna take the core out for us.
Yeah.
Very nice of you. See, this is why I always tell people, come to markets early in the morning. Still a lot of produce and product here. You can grab all kinds of good stuff and take it back to the beach, the hotel room, wherever you're staying, and you have fantastic local food. What you can do is you break this open and you pull out. Very, very sweet. This has an aftertaste that tastes a little bit like sour onions, but not as bad as durian. It's just that that sweet floral flavor on the front part of the bite is worth absolutely all of the misery on the end.
And there's something I've never seen before. Looks like one thing, tastes like another.
What are these, potatoes?
Like potato, sweet potato, very, very sweet.
The fruit?
Open. Yes, this fruit.
Smells like a pear. Big seeds.
Yeah, big seed. Very sweet. Yummy.
Yummy. That's awesome. This tastes like caramel. Tastes like burnt sugar, but it has the consistency of like a nectarine or a peach. Saba. Looks like a Yukon gold potato, has the texture of a nectarine, and tastes like you're biting into caramel taffy.
Also unique to this area, something called the clang kang.
Oh, look at that. See, inside of this is that beautiful little melon-like berry. Yeah, it looks just like a lychee or a longan.
Yeah, like jelly, you know.
Oh. It's different. It's more floral. Tastes more like flowers than lychee or longan.
Lychee, yeah.
That's very, very nice. That is very, very cool. It's like honeydew melon in miniature.
Yeah.
Although it's housed in a modern facility, this market has served Denpasarians for more than a century. The new digs make it clean and safe. From the cities to the countryside, Bali has a distinct island culture, and there are few places that provide such an unhurried pace of life. But on Sunday mornings in late July, the roads of this idyllic region transform into a high-speed cavalcade of vibrant colors and thundering hooves. I'm here in the small town of Nagara, 2 hours west of Denpasar, for a very special race involving some rather unusual contestants.
That is a good-looking water buffalo.
My friend Putu Wiswara and his family have invited me to join in on Bali's version of a weekend NASCAR race, bull running. This curious tradition evolved over the generations as anxious farmers would race their harvested rice to market, hoping to beat out their competitors and be the first to sell. Today, it's a Regency-wide event, drawing thousands of spectators and hundreds of participants. The teams compete in heats, 3 teams per heat with a staggered start. The team that gains the most ground by the time all three pass the finish line is the winner.
How exciting is this?
Like any great sporting event, there's plenty of grab-and-go food around, like at this warung, or cafe.
Look at that gorgeous pork, a little bit of fiery hot sambal.
That's an Indonesian condiment typically made from a variety of hot chilies.
Fantastic. Absolutely delicious.
The race has started, so I meet up with Putu to cheer on his family's team.
It's our ball! That, my friends, is the excitement of water buffalo racing. So how are we doing? Are we in a good position?
Yeah, we got the position now, and then the bull will come, and then this is the finish, the second finish here.
Yeah.
So, we wait here.
Luckily, the team ahead of us loses something along the way.
Wow!
Look at that. Whoa.
Dangerous, no jockey. He jumped.
It's shaping up to be a close race.
This is our team.
Yeah. Yes! He's close! Look at that! Look at that!
Our team pulls out a stunning victory, and needless to say, I get a little lost in the moment. Bali isn't the only Indonesian island that some might find bizarre, culturally speaking, of course. Welcome to Sulawesi.
I'm assuming this is every part of the pig?
All chopped up.
And comfort food, Toraja style.
You want some fat and connective tissue? You come to Toraja, baby. You get a bowl of Choto Makassar.
Sulawesi is one of the larger and more rugged islands of Indonesia. I came to see the island within the island. It's called Tanah Toraja, a land that's more than a mile high, surrounded and largely sealed off by mountain peaks. Located in the highlands of the southwestern peninsula of Sulawesi. That isolation helps give the Toraja culture identity distinct from the rest of Sulawesi. They're Christians in a country that's almost 90% Muslim, and they prepare food in a style all their own. Their way of life is intriguing, and their way of death is spectacular. Their rituals for the dead have been practiced since way before the Christian era, and they proclaim that death doesn't really come to a person until long after the heart stops beating. Going to this part of Sulawesi for the first time is a culture shock, so I want to start with something familiar for me, a trip to the local market. Toraja's biggest city is Rantapau, and the social economic hub of Rantapau is the market. Today I'm tagging along for a shopping trip with my friend Dini Yusuf, her mother-in-law Danny, and Aunt Rena. Dini's a former bank executive who blogs about indigenous Toraja culture. In a land of few refrigerators, people need their food ready to eat, and that means fresh and already chopped or shredded.
Is that tobacco? Wow.
Mama,
Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful.
does it smell good?
Yeah, beautifully cured. How do they use tobacco here?
Bagaimana di ini buat
They smoke it? Chew it.
just chew it,
Yeah.
A closer look shows there's been more than just tobacco being chewed around here.
That tobacco is red because she's also chewing betel nut seed inside there, which stains your mouth red.
Yeah, see.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look, she's chewing everything.
Betel nuts contain a strong stimulant. Mix it with raw tobacco, and you can get quite a buzz going.
The Indonesian country version of a shot in a beer.
The salad,
I've never seen those before.
the snake skin fruit.
Snakeskin fruit?
Yeah. Want to try some?
Yeah, I'd love to try some.
So again, mom.
Well, of course,
Wait,
Mom
wait,
will
wait,
get me a
yeah,
good one.
okay.
Its real name is salak, but you can see and feel why it's called snakeskin.
If I handed this to you and said this is snakeskin, you'd say, yeah. It's amazing. It just comes off like a thin membrane. So you just eat this?
Yeah. Manis, sweet, he said.
Come on. What does that smell like? Be honest.
A white man's armpit.
Exactly. You are absolutely correct. A white man's armpit.
Good? Good?
No, it's not good. And I don't mean that disrespect. You know me, I'll eat anything. This has a very sour, acrid underarm smell. And the taste is like bad cheese, not even good cheese. You know? I mean, I get it. If you grow up on this, it probably does taste delicious.
It's nice. Mama, kan ini manis.
It is very difficult for a Westerner to get used to.
This is ripe, she says.
Well, yeah, clearly. Clearly. I mean, this could, you know, take varnish off a chair.
When you shop at a market like this, there's a safe bet you can find some outstanding restaurants or food stands in the neighborhood.
Is this the place?
I guess.
After you.
Like this one, selling koto makassar. That's water buffalo soup. Tongue, intestines, lungs, heart, it all goes into a spicy broth.
One for you, one for me. Ah, so ready to eat.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
This is excellent. Really clean, very spicy, beefy. This is wonderful. This is Makassar grandmother food.
And here's a nice little slice of the intestinal tract.
Chewy, a little poopy. A little poopy. You want some fat and connective tissue? You come to Taraja, baby. You get a bowl of Choto Makassar. Chewy, see what I'm saying? People like the knuckles and the collagen and the sinew and the trotter. I mean, all the little pieces that are extremely chewy, chunky.
Before we call it a day, Dinny wants me to try something that really is slow cooked and tender. It's inside these bamboo stalks.
So this is the cooking pot and the storage vessel all in one.
Yeah, right.
It's a meal only made in this part of Sulawesi, called papillon. It works like this. A pig is gutted and roasted. The meat, intestines, and other organs are chopped up and mixed with vegetables, onion and lemongrass, and spices like salt and ginger and chilies. Sometimes you add the blood as a flavor enhancer. Then, the entire mixture is stuffed into the bamboo stalks and cooked for a good long time. The bamboo is more than just a container, it adds flavor to the whole dish.
Fantastic. And I'm assuming this is every part of the pig?
All chopped up.
Wow. That's got some heft to it.
Good.
That's awesome.
Good. You like it?
That is so good. That is screaming good.
When you cook an entire animal, sometimes all you taste are the innards, but here, the meat and vegetables win out.
Very, very sweet. Wow.
Just outside the city, dinner means being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
That's the biggest leech I've ever seen.
And a celebratory dish with a lasting impression.
Tasting like the, what's about to come out the rear end of the animal.
Eels and snails. Sounds like food you'd eat by the seashore. But I'm finding them and eating them. In the mountains of Sulawesi in Indonesia, there's a little village in the community of Tanah Toraja called Batutamanga, one of the most isolated areas I've ever visited. My friend Dinny Yusuf is passionate about the local cuisine, and today she's taking me on a mountaintop food crawl. Our first stop is her neighbor's rice paddy. Rice harvest is over. Now comes the snail harvest.
I go around and collect the snails.
To collect snails, all we have to do is grab a bucket and scoop them up out of the water.
I'm not going in. You can have a good time.
You're not going in?
I'm not going in.
You cheater!
I want to stay pretty. Yeah.
Whoa!
It doesn't take long to discover why Dinny might choose to stay out of the rice paddy.
4 inches of water and about 1.5 feet of decomposing vegetable matter.
Dinny's neighbors are Dorsha and Mama Tiku. Farm families usually get 3 rice harvests per year out of a paddy like this one. And when the rice is gone, the snails are ready. They look really gross when you see them at all.
How she saw them, I have absolutely no idea. Does that look like a snail to you? No, it's a bunch of rotting twigs. Oh my God. So buried under all of this stuff is a snail. That's miraculous. That is seeing something that isn't there.
These families have had lots of practice. For centuries, rice farmers have supplemented their diet with the protein from the snails in their fields.
She's got 3. This is what I got. Bupkis. Oh! It's a rock.
I'm finally starting to have some success, but then I realized that something is hunting me.
That's the biggest leech I've ever seen.
This guy would just keep drinking blood until his stomach swells to 5 times its body size. Not gonna happen, though.
Because he bit the wrong guy. I'm at the top of the food chain. Although he's aggressive, look, he's trying to bite again on the thumb. Doesn't taste so good, buddy, does it?
All right, maybe we've done enough snail hunting.
Let's go and eat.
Fresh snails need to soak a day and a night to get the silty soil out of them. Luckily, we've got some that Dorsha collected yesterday.
Shallots.
Yeah. Turmeric.
Yep,
Yeah.
fresh turmeric.
Yeah.
Garlic, onion, lemongrass, coconut milk. It doesn't take long.
That smell amazing.
So you want them to show you how to eat it?
That
know how
I'm
to-
really good at.
Oh, good.
Oh my gosh. Fantastic.
This may look disgusting coming out of all that muck, but the muck is really a flavor enhancer, enriched by plants, 100% natural and chemical free. Higher elevation means fewer bugs and more pristine water.
They have a very, very delicate, earthy flavor that I just love. And obviously living in such beautiful conditions in that water with all the nutrients in the rice paddy at the altitude it's at really helps.
So how many have you eaten so far?
Well, this is my 3rd bowl.
But the snails are just an appetizer. Before I eat my hosts out of house and home, Dinny moves us on down the road to visit another friend and try another local delicacy. But it doesn't look very delicate. This traditional Toraja house, called a tangkonan, is the home of Christina Lembang.
Ini Andrew Simran dari Amerika.
Dinny's advised me to bring along a gift for what will become the most unusual social call I've ever paid.
An offering.
Yeah.
Ya, terima kasih, Indra.
Oh, you're very welcome.
She lives here with her sister, with the father and mother who have passed away.
You heard that right. Christina lives with parents who have passed away. But in Toraja, they're not considered dead. They're simply referred to as sick. Relatives with this particular sickness remain at home, getting meals and receiving visitors.
This is the grandma there.
Ya,
This is
ni
the
ambek, ni Indo.
How old was he when he got sick?
Lebih 100.
more than 100 years old.
Wow.
The coffins must be sealed up tight. There's no smell of death or even of the formaldehyde the bodies are preserved in. My gift bag of tobacco and betel nuts is now going to be shared with the deceased relatives.
Ini kasih masuk di sini.
Put it in the blue
Ini.
bag.
Ni Indo. Toh.
Sure.
The deceased aren't really dead until the family holds a funeral. But Torajan funerals are so elaborate and immense, families work for a long time to save up for one. Christina figures her parents will continue staying here at home for about 2 years.
Yung solam. Ampun medyo may.
Now, she's telling them we have to go.
Lalu makan.
Beautiful. What did she say?
Grandma and grandpa, we are going to eat in the rice barn with the American man. Handsome man.
Oh, very nice.
Dinner is living in a pond behind the house. And thanks to Christina's son, August, we won't have to go fishing for it.
He's draining the pond.
It's so much easier that way.
Here's what we're after, freshwater eels. August quickly catches a bunch. Not me. Slippery as an eel? Well, clearly, that's no cliche. We're making a traditional Toraja dish known as lendong pamarasan. Step 1, catch the eels. Persistence and good luck finally produce success. Step 2.
Press the head.
All right.
Step 3, split them on sticks and char them over an open fire. Then stir-fry them on the kitchen stove. But getting into the kitchen turns out to be an unexpected challenge.
Watch out your head, Andrew.
Watch out my head. I can't fit through the kitchen door.
Joking, you cannot?
I'm not joking.
Not many Toraja still live in the traditional tangkonans because they're so small.
Your legs first.
My legs first?
Now, I know why.
I just like the fact that they haven't taken the guts out. They just cut the head. They roast them whole.
Yeah.
Guts, heads.
Christina stir-fries them with lemongrass, garlic, chili, scallions, and shallots. But here's the ingredient that makes the meal uniquely Torajan.
What's the black stuff?
And the black powder, we call it pamarasan. It's from the pamarasan tree or pangi tree.
Toraja cooking is sometimes called black food because they use so much powder from the ground-up fruit. Christina gives thanks for the food and for having a guest.
Bapa kami yang ada di surga, nasi yang di hadapan kami. Amin.
Amen. That's some good eel. Sweet, fatty, melts in your mouth.
The black powder adds a dusty, citrusy flavor with the taste of sandalwood and rotten mushrooms.
Wow, that's good.
Do you want to bring some home?
Absolutely. Package the rest of mine to go.
Up next, preparing a feast not for the faint of heart.
Don't be too proud, guys. You still haven't been able to fill up your bamboo poles with blood.
Among the Toraja on the island of Sulawesi in Indonesia, death is one of the most important facts of life. Take the giant week-long funeral ceremony known as a Rambu Solo, for example. It's a final farewell to loved ones who are departing the earth after months or sometimes even years in waiting. It takes families that long to save up for the lavish celebration that includes feeding the entire community that turns out throughout the week. The Rambu Solo for Nay Marlin and her son Nay Enzo is now in its final days. One of the most extreme customs of the event occurs when the water buffalo are sacrificed. Here in Toraja, the moment the first buffalo dies is the true moment of death for the person who's being buried. That's when the spirit leaves the body and journeys into the afterworld, riding on the spirit of another sacrificial buffalo. But the sacrifice is also a functional way to feed the many hundreds of guests. And it's a display of wealth and prestige. Before this 7-day ceremony is over, the Rambu Solo will sacrifice 40 buffalo. Today, it's 5. My guide to the Rambu Solo is Johnny Barun, mayor of his village and a close friend of the family hosting the event.
Is the way in which the buffalo are killed today different than the way they would do it on the farm for meat, or is it the same way?
Mostly same way. By cutting the neck of the buffaloes, by using a Torajan sword, long and sharp.
I'll warn everybody right now, this is not easy to watch, and we're not even showing the worst of it. It's an honor and a rite of passage for a young man to kill his first water buffalo. The air is thick with a heavy smell of blood and barnyard and several hundred tightly packed human bodies on a hot, humid afternoon.
Why are people laughing?
It's already 3 buffalo, but they don't even can collect the blood.
Johnny says the laughing is all directed at the guys trying and failing to catch the fresh blood for cooking later. But it looks to me as if it's a delight in the whole spectacle itself.
These 4 jokers shouldn't be. Don't be too proud, guys. You still haven't been able to fill up your bamboo poles with blood.
But once all 5 animals are down, the real experts go to work. Teams of men quickly and skillfully remove hide, horns, and harvest the meat and organs. On a personal note, I've seen the ritual killing of animals in dozens of countries. This was the hardest one I've ever had to watch. But it's my Western sensibility, not their behavior, that's out of place here. Water buffalo are the most prized animals in this culture. For many people here, the Rambu Solo is one of the few chances to eat this type of meat. But even with 5 full-sized water buffalo, there are a lot of mouths to feed. So the meat and the organs are chopped into little bits and all mixed together for a quick cooking stew.
The meat will be mixed with some vegetable, chili, and salt.
The lungs,
Yeah,
the
the
heart,
lungs, the heart,
you can see
yeah.
the trachea
Yeah.
there, the liver against the wall, a big bowl of cut meat, but of course, don't forget the cookies and the coffee.
When lunchtime comes, about 600 people sit down to share a meal made out of buffalo entrails.
Here, some is intestine.
Yeah,
You want to taste some?
sure, I'll take a bite.
Yeah. Wash hand here.
The right hand gets a quick wash. In Indonesia, the left hand is used for personal hygiene, so only the right hand touches the food.
And you can see in there a little bit of intestine. Fatty. A little bit spicy. A little bit barnyardy.
It's a challenge to eat this stuff. Tarajan cooking style doesn't cook the organs long enough to make them tender, and judging by the flavor, they haven't been rinsed first either.
That faint sort of tinny and digested food that's in the lower GI tract is sort of prevails in the flavor profile there. Just at the end there, you can make out all 3 layers of the stomach lining. The hairy outside, the fatty inner wall, and then right by my thumb, you can see the tiny little fibers of the inside. All right, then. Pieces of a water buffalo stomach like this are very, very strong tasting, very tough, very fatty, and certainly not for beginners gaming. You know, tasting like the, what's about to come out the rear end of the animal.
But like invited guests all over the world, no matter what your host serves, you put on a game face and remember your manners.
Thank you very much. Delicious. Absolutely delicious.
A visit to Indonesia is an enchanting tour of primordial civilizations and modern constructs of ancient customs. Spirituality is imbued in daily life here. From remarkable rituals to elaborate culinary creations. Amazing journeys and dramatic farewells. It's all sacred in this island paradise, along with lots and lots of insanely cool food. So when you go, remember, if it looks good, eat it.